Namaste. Welcome. Beautiful souls. Welcome to my Friday Tarot chat. And I have been deep in contemplation, preparing for today. And this was actually quite spontaneous, something that came to me last night. It's very interesting how topics present themselves to be discussed during these Friday chats. And this is just something that I wanted to talk about, I wanted to share, and then I started going down a bit of a Golden Dawn rabbit hole and have decided that I'm going to explore this over the next few weeks. And that is at least the initial stages of opening the key, which is a complex and mysterious and inspiring and empowering process to dive into a personal self-reflection, whether you are doing that for yourself or for another. If you're working as a tarot reader or in some way of support for another. So today we're going to look at the part of the first step, which is the process of cutting the cards. And so I want to welcome you to this tarot chat today and say hello to everybody that is strolling in. Welcome. And yes, Saskia was worried about Jonathan. I do have a message from Jonathan that I can share from Facebook. So let's just right off the top. So Jonathan Daly is a friend, fellow tarot reader, and he lives in Kihei, very close to Lahaina, Maui. And fortunately, his family and their home are safe. And they are going to be staying in their home unless they are given evacuation orders. Fires are still burning on Maui. However, I did see the news earlier today, and I see that residents of Lahaina will be permitted to return to assess what's going on there. But it is a complete one of the reporters or one of the ER doctors described it as a war zone. It is complete devastation for this wonderful, historic former capital of Hawaii. And I'm wearing, actually today, a pendant that I purchased. My daughter purchased it for me in Lahaina for my birthday several years ago by a local artist. And I'm just really, really devastated personally, but I'm not a local and I can't imagine what they're all going through. But Jonathan is safe, and aloha to Jonathan and his family. All right. For those of you that don't know me, I am also a tarot reader. If you haven't caught on to that, my name is Sadhana, and I am a instructor as well too, as a personal just a lover of this art, the science and the art of tarot, the mystery, the magic, all of its little nuances. And I feel you could call me a tarot nerd as well too. 2024, if you are interested, I'm going to be diving into the Tarot de Marseille, and I will be for the most part, exclusively in all of my broadcasts using one version or another of the Tarot de Marseille. So that is something that just sort of came out of a chat here, and really happy to share that with you. So aloha, love to all of you, Clevis, Saskia, and Dee. Donna, welcome. All right. Now, I have a confession to make. And one is that today's topic, which is the first part of the first operation of opening the key, which is rather labor-intensive, multi-part operation created by the Golden Dawn, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. as a procedure for doing a tarot reading. That was taught to, I believe, the second grade of adepts. And there are various interpretations of this in lots of different tarot books. You can go back through all kinds of old PDFs. You can go through instructions in a lot of the Golden Dawn documents are available as PDF, and you can even buy some of them on Amazon, reprints of them as well too. However, I am using Benabel Wen's Holistic Tarot as a basis for this, but I also want you to know that I have been working with today's topic, which is cutting cards, cutting the cards right to left in a particular order for a long time, and really, really love this process. I have been sharing it and teaching it in several of my classes, and I just want to share with you my understanding of the power of intention and connection that is so very, very important in reading. Now, this whole process called the opening of the key, which is at least 5 parts. Some would describe it as more than 5 parts. We're looking at just a little piece of that today. And this process of doing a long, extensive tarot reading, which I could see happening over more than a day, maybe even the journey of a week in working with somebody, or over the course of, if you were meeting with somebody once a week, this could take several weeks to completely open the key. If you were to sit down and do this in one session, oh my goodness, it would be a day-long meeting, and I think perhaps with plenty of alcohol too, or some other. It would take a long time to do this. This process. Now, if you look in the description box below, hello to Rasta. I see Rasto Pablo's here. Welcome. 2021, I did a 2-part video on significators and choosing a significator. And I will address this a little bit today, but if you want to watch 2 hours of me chatting away about significators, that is linked below in the description box. Okay, so this whole process begins with choosing a significator. There's a particular method in cutting the cards, and then from there is a procedure which we will get to, I believe, in the 3rd session. The next session, which is in 3 weeks' time because I'm taking a break, we'll be talking about counting cards and putting value on cards. So that's something that we're going to do. So I'm going to unpack this a little bit over many weeks on Fridays. I think this is going to be kind of fun. Now, the entire process of opening the key involves several spreads. It involves a 12-card houses spread, so the astrological houses. It involves a 12-card zodiacal sign spread. It also involves a 36 decan spread, as well as a 10 Sephiro spread, Tree of Life spread. So it's a really long, intense process, and I've actually gone through personally and done this for myself, and it was an amazing, amazing journey. So I don't know if I'll go through the whole thing, but I want to go through the initial steps because I think it's really, really something. Now, for me, why do I do this, and what is this connection, and what draws me in here? Well, I believe that tarot is a tradition. We stand on these shoulders of these old adepts, the history of tarot. And the ones that come to mind are also standing on a history. There's deep connection with the tarot through the centuries. And I just feel it's an honoring of old traditions. And yes, I have adapted it to suit my practice, but that doesn't water down my respect for this art, my respect for this practice. I really, really like this practice. It's something that makes so much sense to me, and so I want to share a little bit this with you today. Okay. Now, I'm just going to just touch on a couple of things here. The first part of the process is in choosing a significator. And this is one option. One option. And when we get to the next step in 3 weeks, I'm going to ask you to prep yourself with a deck and this deck doesn't work very well because there's a lot of front-facing court cards. It's better if most of the court cards face either right or left, because we will be doing readings that are directional. And so we can work with this Knight of Wands facing in this direction. I believe all of the kings are front facing, which makes it kind of challenging. And I know even in the Waite-Smith deck, some of the court cards are forward facing. So you want to choose a deck that really works with the whole idea of direction. I'll probably be using Shadowscapes, which I'm fascinated with. The way, if you heard my video on Wednesday night, I did part 3 of the Shadowscapes review, and that deck is very interestingly deep in direction. So step 1 is to choose a significator. And yes, it could be a court card. Did you know traditionally that the significator was the high priestess for those who identified female and the magician for those who identified male? So that was one way of doing it some time ago. But I have another process of choosing a significator that works really well for me, and that is where I sit with the whole deck of cards in hand, and I have the cards facing me, and I leaf through the deck and contemplate what it is I want clarity on. And I'm looking for a topic card. And so for example, if I was looking this card and this card resonated with me, my topic perhaps would be about, what is it I need to understand about this period of integration, this period of letting go. There's something about this card that really gets to me, the way that this figure is walking into the lake, into the cauldron, surrendering to this energy. Really like this card. Perhaps I'm going through a time where I need to understand why I'm struggling so much, what is it I'm standing up for? What am I fighting for? And so perhaps this is my topic card. And I tend to use the word topic card instead of significator, and I leave the word significator to the court cards, In the same way, in certain decks, certain cards will have particular meanings for you. This might be my Reiki card, but there's something about this Two of Pentacles that I really connect with, and Two of Pentacles in general is a card of change and understanding upcoming change. So that might be my topic card. I might be in a mood of just, taking off, getting out of here. I need to get out of here. And maybe this Chariot card comes to mind. And so I'm going to use this as a topic card. And so this process of just sitting with the deck and leafing through the cards is one of, okay, what is it I really need to focus on today? Okay, so that's the initial part of the process. And once I have my topic in mind, then I'm going to shuffle the deck. Shuffle the deck. All right, I'm going to get another deck on the table here. This is the Tarot of the Keeper of the Sacred Bee, which is a deck I've been using a lot this month. And so my process here, just to recap, is to look at the deck and to go through, and I'm gonna use the Ten of Cups as my significator. This is a weekend. This is my birthday weekend. I have people gathering at my home. I really feel the joy, the rise of emotion in that card as well too. So I'm going to use that as my significator. Hi Antoinette, welcome. All right. So, shuffle. I'm going to just do a couple overhand shuffles just because I'm live here with you on and not move my mic and all that. Okay. All right. This procedure of cutting cards, which is part of the first operation, is one where we cut the cards from right to left. And I believe I talked about this in a video last week, but didn't go into explaining it. And so I want to do that. So you want to place the cards on the right side of your table. And the reason for this is that Hebrew is read from right to left. And so the procedure goes that you cut the cards with your left hand, perhaps after doing an invocation, from the main pile to what you would call the third pile. And then you cut this pile, your first pile, and you create a second pile, and the third pile, and you create a fourth pile. So the direction of the piles is moving from right to left. And these four piles represent the energy of the elements. These four piles represent the energy of the suits. Or you could look at it as the energy of the tetragrammaton, which is very much a part of the way that the tarot is interpreted or built. If you're working with Golden Dawn correspondences. And there are a lot of ties to the way that the suits are built through other traditions as well too. And so I would say in extension, this goes beyond Golden Dawn. And so this particular pile here, the first one, has the energy of the suit of wands. This is the pile. Now, this is my interpretation, okay, and you may disagree with me here, but this is the suit of fire. This is the pile, the group of cards that represent the energy of fire. My will, my determination, perhaps a fire that I want to rekindle, a passion, a life path, a purpose, some sort of, tapping into my drive. Anything that is connected to the suit of wands, initiating something, action, a masculine kind of component, where I'm doing something, stepping forward. The second pile I would describe as the cups. So this is the element of water. These cards represent an emotional component and anything to do with the suit of cups, the journey through water, the journey through anything that is related to the any of the zodiacal water signs. Same with here, right? So this would represent also the zodiacal fire signs, and so on. So we have wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. If I'm looking for mental clarity, if I'm looking for voice, clear sight, a detachment from emotion, anything mental, intellectual, or vocal, I will likely be choosing and working with this particular pile. And the fourth pile, which I see as a pile of cards that contains an integration of all energies. The suit of pentacles is the fourth suit. It's a place where everything comes together in this manifest world. And if I am asking a question or wanting information about all that is, something about money or my family or my diet, my body, I don't know, my vegetable garden. I've never done a reading on my vegetable garden. I'm going to work with this particular pile here. So this is about deepening your connection with your reading. Now, there's a million things you can do once we choose a pile. Unlimited number of things that we can do without even diving into all the procedure that came through the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. And I have found this to take all of my readings to the next level. And I see that many of you use your left hand as well too. And I think that has to do with this being the receptive hand. It is the one that is more, it's more artistic as well too. It's connected to the right brain, right? Okay, so do you remember what my topic card was? Because I'm drawing a blank here. That's hilarious. I know it when I'll see it. That is so funny. I'm so busy talking, I forgot what it was. Yeah, it's the yin hand. So I'm going to, I wish I could remember what it was. Somebody please remind me, what is my topic card? This is embarrassing. I should have written it down. Okay. Taking a breath in and out. I'm waiting for you. Was anybody paying attention? Oh, yes, the 10 of Cups. All right. So I was thinking about the energy around my birthday weekend, all of my kids gathering, emotions. Emotions run high at these kind of things. So, in a way, I would expect that the 10 of Cups is going to be here. So I am going to pick up this pile. And I'm going to have a look at it. I can share it with you. Justice is on the bottom. Now, sometimes I do make a note of that when I'm working with cards to see what's on the bottom. So Libra's on the bottom. Balance. Karma. I wonder if that's going to play into things. And I go through and I'm just looking to see if my topic card is here. Is the 10 of Cups here? And part of me is thinking that, in a way, it's not here. And that tells me something. That tells me maybe emotions aren't going to run high this weekend. It tells me that, hi Astrid, welcome. It tells me maybe I don't need to worry about the the stuff that's going on in the family. I can just focus on the joy, the fun, the gatherings, the activities. All right, so I'm going to put this pile back down. And so now what's going through my head is, well, if it's not in the emotional pile, where is it? Is it in the fiery pile? Let's just have fun. Let's just be spontaneous. So I'm going to pick up the fiery pile, which feels much larger. And on the bottom of the fiery pile is the world. And I'm just going to go through and see if it is here. And it looks like it is not here either. That is very bizarre. Okay. I'm going to pick up the swords pile, and I don't know why in the world it would be there. So this is something that is, it's in the swords pile. It's in the swords pile. Okay. The Five of Pentacles is on the bottom, by the way. Listening to everything that I've said, what does it say to you that my topic is in the swords pile? The pile of the intellect, the pile of mental clarity. Perhaps somehow, you know, in some ways I really see this suit as a direct line to spirit in a way. I'm fascinated with this. So I'm not going to change the order of these cards, and I'm just going to push the other piles away. And I don't know if I'm going to come back to them, so I'm just going to leave them there. All right. And I'm going to turn this so you can see. Perhaps, Saskia, overlooking the whole thing. This birthday will be what you think it will be. Your mind will drive this day for yourself. Okay. And if I was alone, you know, I would be sitting down and making notes, observing this whole process, all of these little steps, because I believe the whole process is part of the reading. The whole process is part of the story, because there's a lesson in the fact this card wasn't in the cups pile, and it wasn't in the, you know, the fiery party pile either. Okay. And of course, there is a lesson that it's here in the suit of swords. Now, when I turn the cards over, I'm going to make a note. The 5 is on the bottom. All right. Shadow of, perhaps, of the weekend. Interesting. And as I fan out the cards, one thing that I often do as an initial step is to look and see what is on either side of that card, because it may very well inform and answer my question enough, and I may not need to do anything else. So I'm going to have a look at how the 2 of Pentacles informs all of this, as well as the Knight of Swords. And we have the Knight of Swords. We're in the swords pile. And when I look at that 2 of Pentacles, I feel like I'm already in this process. And that is where I'm not really concerned about how I'm going to feed all these people this weekend. I don't really care. I know my kids are really resourceful and they're going to look after everything anyway. So I feel in a way that this Two of Pentacles energy is already in hand, but perhaps I can just make more light of this and say, really, Sadhana, let go and just enjoy the feeling that you had in that 10 of Cups card. And I don't know, well, this is personal, right? And I'm telling you this is a real story and a real reading. And when I look at that Knight of Swords, I feel a real transformative power. If you think about the knights and the journeys that they take, thanks, Astrid. I was looking at the chat and lost my thought. Knights, journeys, quests, and so forth. And this quest that this knight is on, this purple card, I tend to read the knights in the tarot as connected with the mutable signs. And this makes me think of my son, who's a Gemini. But that's not where I was going. I'm just thinking perhaps of the transformative energy behind that bee. And maybe this gathering will be the event that shifts everything, like lightens, I'm not sure how to put this into words. Everybody's growing up, and I feel like all of those worries and issues, we've all really come to a place where we just need to let it go and enjoy being together. And I think part of the process is really in just being. So I see that Knight of Swords as transformative thought. Transformative thought. It's a really interesting combination of cards. Now, in this process, what you can also do, and I've done this a lot with Lenormand, and if you took my Lenormand series, I think we did this with Lenormand as well too, then you can add cards. And this was the bottom of the pile, so I want to go and add these ones. You want to add this way. So you can make a whole storyboard and read that way. Okay, so this is one way that I might work with this first part of the first operation. Okay, now I'm going to gather this pile together again. So this is my water pile. No, sorry, this is my swords pile. And I'm going to give it a shuffle. And I'm not going to look for the significator. I'm just going to leave it in the pile. And what I'm going to do is to continue to explore my birthday weekend. And assuming that the cards that were in that third pile are the ones that have. See, part of this process is in the trust of the tarot, in the trust of process, in the trust of standing on the shoulders of tradition. And this is why I really like this procedure. Okay, so I have shuffled this pile again, and I'm going to cut the cards, and I'm going to do a portrait spread. So this is something else that you might do. You could also, of course, just do a 3-card spread if you were doing your daily draw, you can just do your daily draw from this spread. And again, I'm cutting with my left hand. So, central theme of the party, central theme of the weekend is the 10 of Pentacles. That's kind of a great card, you know, and that's what very much what this feeling of this weekend looks like. Kids gathering, their partners, my significant other, friends. It's going to be full. It's going to be full. There's going to be lots of people gathered. We don't have an older generation. They've all passed on, unfortunately. And none of my children have kids yet. So we're just working with 2 generations. Yeah. And then when I do a portrait spread or a 9-card spread, I usually put the card in the center down. So this is the main focus of the reading. And then I go up to the top. So one thing I'm going to note here is that I have a repeating card. Okay. 5 of Swords, King of Wands. I'm going to bunch these up just so you can see them all. And then in my middle row, I have a Knight of Pentacles and the Emperor. This right side is looking kind of fiery. The King of Wands and the Emperor. Nobody really wants to see the 5 of Swords above a party weekend. And then down below we have Ace of Cups. So Ace of Cups is kind of fueling the Knight of Pentacles and the whole idea of change. I really like this keyword for this card. The idea with the 2 of Pentacles, and I think of Marseille cards and that idea of the infinity sign and perpetual motion, and things are always, energy is always shifting. There's something here that feels really beautiful. I like this whole row here. What is underneath the 10 of Pentacles is the King of Swords. So lots of swords cards, very unexpected, and Queen of Cups. And Queen of Cups, kind of me, perhaps Queen of, so we've got Queen of Cups, King, no, that was Emperor, Queen of Cups, Emperor, and King of Wands. Interesting. It's almost like we have the adults and the kids or something. So this is another possibility of what I might do with that particular thank you for that, Donna. The poor 5 of Swords is much maligned. 5 as change, maybe a change in either thinking or in communication. And as I was saying, I honestly feel that the process of the 5s takes you to a new vision. It takes you through a new place. And there's already, even though nobody's here yet, well, actually, one of my daughters arrived. I observed something today. I observed a softening of a relationship between one of my children and my partner. I don't live with my partner. He lives across the street. But I saw a softening today, and it was really beautiful. Yeah. Is Swords not my favorite suit? No, it's not my favorite suit. I'm not opposed to it. Swords not your favorite suit. Not at all. Not at all. I often think of Swords as all of that third eye stuff and clear sight, big sight, climbing to the top of the mountain and seeing the whole picture. Okay? All right. So that is a second thing I might do with these 4 piles. Okay. So now I'm going to gather up the cards again and give you another part of this process. Well, actually, it's the same process. So I've gathered the swords pile together again, and I've done the step with what's on either side of my topic card, and I did a 9-card spread, and I'm going to put the swords pile back in its position. So this was the 3rd pile, this was the fire pile, and this is water, and pentacles, earth. Part of this process is to understand, or part of why I'm sharing this with you today, is to understand that there is an unlimited number of possibilities here. You could draw a card from each pile and cut each pile. So you're looking at the underlying layer of the energy. And I'm going to work with the same topic, so you know what my significator was. And I'm going to cut the fire pile and draw a card from the fire pile. You know, what do I need to know about the energy of fire this weekend? And I have another swords card. This is so interesting. Really fascinating. Really fascinating. So remember, there's a layer of fire under here. There's a layer of passion. So this is perhaps a clarity of thought that is fueled by passion. Honestly, a major shift that has happened for me over the past, and this is so recent. I mean, I have been out of the tarot closet for a long time. People know what I do. If people are interested, I'll share them. I'll talk about any topic, any part of this. But something happened, and I was at a local public event. And this was the weekend I was at the market. Was that last weekend or the weekend before? And there was a bunch of people that came up to me that don't know what I do, or they don't know anything about me other than they've seen me here or there. Or one lady I see at the beach where I go swimming all the time, she said to me, "Oh, is this what you do when you're not swimming?" And I said, "Yes." And it was like it was an interesting feeling inside to know how many more people that weekend knew my secret, if it is a secret. It was like it was almost like I took a step back, but at the same time took a step forward. This is my truth. This is my truth. This is who I am. This is actually really a beautiful way to own what I do. So there's something very, very interesting about all these swords cards coming up. In the Suit of Cups, same thing. Draw a card. Cup energy. 4 of Swords. In the Swords pile, 8 of Swords. And in the Pentacles pile, Judgment. So perhaps this whole thing is a new vision. Perhaps it's a new vision, a new way of seeing things. Yeah. So that is something else that I might do with this procedure. And then that gives you a 4-card reading. And, honestly, sometimes I don't have a particular topic in mind. And let me go back and reframe that for you. Okay. And I'm going to shuffle all the cards up again and gather them all together. Hmm. Now, a lot of what I'm saying here today might feel a little bit too esoteric for some people. The way that, we're working with the golden dawn and the mysteries and the magic and then working on the shoulders of all those that have come before. But really, this doesn't need to be so complicated. I think this procedure also just can give us a little more thought into what it is that we're doing. So imagine it is the morning and you've gone to get your deck of cards, and you're kind of checking in with yourself. And in this case, I'm not going to leaf through. I'm not going to pick a topic. I'm not going to do that at all. I'm just going to pick my card of the day. Okay? So no big deal. I've shuffled the cards. And again, I'm going to go through and do this procedure. And then I'm just going to pause. And two things came to my mind simultaneously. One was about the practical stuff. So I'm actually going to go with that. That's sort of what came first. I'm really curious here, but I'm going to go to the practical pile and I'm going to go, okay, what is my theme for today? I'm just going to, that was a very brief cut. 7 of Swords. 7 of Swords. This is all really, really fascinating. It's fascinating. So if you were my advisor, which you all are, love you all dearly. Rasta, I don't know you well, but I love what you're saying. I love what you're saying here. And all of these swords cards continuing to come up. What piece of advice would you have for me throughout this weekend, various gatherings with all of these people? Because I've pretty much picked every swords card in the suit of swords. Okay, so I think there's something there, and that's after I sign off talking with you folks today, I think that is, I'm just going to be running that question through my mind. Yes, this is another maligned card. 7 is a wonderful number of introspection, inner work. 7 is such a magical number. And I see, and those of you that have taken classes with me, we have taken apart the 7s in so much detail. The 7s as a beautiful 3 building on the foundation of the 4. The 7s as a 6 plus 1 moving away from the energy of harmony and moving out into different things. 7s as connecting with Venusian energy. There's millions of ways. 7 as this place of magic in that it is the card, well, it's a perfect number. There's not a lot of perfect numbers out there. Yeah. Thank you, Rasta. Thank you. And thank you, Laura. These are, so yes, these are messages of being, of being. Yeah. So you've learned a little bit about me, of what is going on, but I also want you to take away from this particular method of cutting cards has a lot of possibility. So perhaps should we see if my topic card is still here, just for fun? I'm just going to do that. Because when this sort of thing happens, it's just mind-blowing the way that it is. It's still here. It's still here. And this time the Queen of Swords is on one side and the Three of Swords is on the other side. There you have it. You can't make this stuff up. I have another thought as well too, and I want to go back to the process, not just my stuff. This is not me projecting my stuff on you. Swords as words, and it's something really, really funny that my partner keeps saying to me is that I should write a book about some of the drama in my family. It would make an amazing book. And I just had this thought of words and stories and writing down some of this. Yes. Thank you for that, Rasta. Thank you. Okay. So just to recap, why I'm sharing this with you is that I've learned through working with the cards. If you want to connect with, some people ask, well, what if I'm not psychic? What if I'm not magical? What if I'm just a beginner? What if I just don't know if I have this in me? I think these procedures and this process is one that can help build a trust in the magic and the mystery of the tarot. It's really fun when you get these clear messages just banging you in the face. This is so much more informative than just pulling one card, because I've learned something here actually. So I would really recommend this procedure of cutting the cards into the 4 piles and getting really creative with what you do next. It's an amazing little tool. And for those of you that have worked with me, I have my own little nickname for this procedure. I refer to this cutting of the cards as the first order of operations. It's actually the first part of the first operation. It's not a complete operation in itself. So what I'm going to do in 3 weeks' time is I want to talk about counting cards and values assigned to cards. And this is going to bring in a little bit of a discussion about planets in astrology as well too. And another way to kind of take this procedure to another step. And if you're interested, come back in 3 weeks and we'll do that. But I'm going to draw a card for you. I'm going to draw a card for you. And I'm going to use Shadowscapes Tarot. I need to shuffle it because It was sorted from Wednesday. Are you the matriarch of the family? I am the matriarch of the family. I am. I have... all my siblings are younger than me. And I have no living parents. Yeah. My ex-husband's parents have died as well, too. Actually, that's not true. I could say my parents, well, I'm not married. My partner's parents are alive. Yeah. Okay. Today is Friday. Today is, and I think this is important. Okay. So go back to Donna's comment. And Donna, if you want to add anything else to your comment, the Venus energy, the Venus star point. If you don't know what this is, I would suggest perhaps Molly McCord. Donna, do you think Molly McCord is accessible to most people? If you don't follow her, she has a channel, Intuitive Astrology YouTube. She has a podcast, and she's pretty good at teaching tarot. It's not tarot, astrology. And if you listen to her regularly, you can get a lot out of it. And I know that she has a video on the Venus star point. However, not only do we have this energy, but today is also Friday. Today is Friday, day of the goddess. In French, vendredi. In lots and lots of cultures, I think Friday is associated with the goddess. It's a day when mothers are honored. Yeah. So how today can you honor your inner goddess? How can you honor your receptivity? How can you honor your softness? And perhaps amplify your self-care. Like today is a day of Venus. And maybe today is a day to go and crack open that $85 bottle of wine that you daren't not crack because it's too darn expensive. You know, today is a day of using the good dishes to all of those sensual experiences, whether they are touch or, you know, wearing a garment that feels good on your skin, right? Friday is a day of the goddess. And this applies whether you are, whatever gender you identify as. You know, this is about wearing that silk shirt that makes you feel so sexy or whatever. Okay, so really enjoy this day. And this is a card for you, for the collective. From this beautiful Venusian deck. It's a 6. It's a 6. So 6 is solar energy. But it's the 6 of cups. It's the 6 of cups. 6s are this place of beautiful integration, balancing of masculine and feminine energy. They are a place of... I'm smiling because the noise lately has been unbelievable. Anyway, that's the motorcycle next door. 6s are a place of harmony and beauty. Beauty. I'm going to put this card on the table and zoom in so you can see it. And I think, let's see if I can zoom in here. Yes, it has a nostalgic quality to it. Children, gentleness. But you know what I'm feeling more than anything is doing what you want to do. I see a little girl here having a tea party, or I can imagine as a child, lemonade stands were a big thing. Um, but I think your message here has to do with simplicity, simplicity, harmony, peace. What makes you feel peaceful? Do something peaceful for yourself today. Mm-hmm. Okay? And I'm not going to overcomplicate that. All right. So, yes, Molly McCord. And Venus and Sun are conjunct in Leo, all the heart chakra, loving energy. Also, Venus is receiving healing and support from Chiron in Aries. Chris has a great guest speaker on astrology podcast about Venus star point. Chris who? Perhaps you can share that channel as well too. And Donna, thank you. Thank you, all of you. All right, so I will see some of you from time to time over the next 3 weeks, but I will be back 3 weeks today. That'll be the next Friday that I will be on. Thanks, Laura. Thank you. Okay. So all of you have a blessed weekend and enjoy the remainder of this month. And thank you for always being here and your lovely words of commendation and support, not only for me, but for everyone in the chat every week. Thank you all. Namaste.